Hello and welcome to today's product demo. I can see that we already have a couple people online, 35 people, which is great. We will wait a little bit more for everyone to join the session. So if you haven't already got yourself a coffee or a glass of water, then you can do that still. We will wait for maybe 1 more minute, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we will start. Today's session will be around 40 minutes to maybe an hour. Depends a little bit how many questions there are, but around 40 minutes I think is realistic for today. I can see we have 42 people already joining. Maybe for the time that we wait, let me know the city where you are from. And maybe also the highest mountain in your area would be interesting. So everyone, feel free to put it in the chat. The city that you are from or you live in right now, and your highest mountain. I'm in Mainz in Germany. And the highest mountain at my place is the Feldberg. It's called. It's around, I think it's 800 meters or so. So not the largest one. No mountains in New York City. All right. So what's the highest building in your city quarter? Remy. Bilbao Basque Country altitude is 685 meters. Do you know the name of the mountain or? Tel Aviv, no mountains in the city. Great, cool. So maybe also put in the highest building. I don't know if there's probably in Tel Aviv. Monte Bianco, cool. In Bologna, Italy. Hello, Monica. Hi, hi. Hi, Stefan. From Helsinki, I guess also no significant mountains there. Vienna, the Schneeberg, around 2,100 meters high. Great, cool. All right, feel free to continue putting in your cities and highest mountains around. I guess we can start the session now. You should be able to see my presentation. Today we've got a product demo ahead of our latest release, ENVI-met 5.9. We have released this version last week, and it came with some significant changes, especially in the simulation speed. And today we wanted to give you a little summary of that, and then also some other features that we have released this year. I'm your today's host. My name's Leonard. Maybe you know me already. I'm from the customer success team at ENVI-met. And we'll host the session today. In our chat, we have Dario, also from the customer success team. He will moderate the chat. So if you have any questions, he will answer those. We will also have a Q&A in the end. But he will moderate your chat, and if you need, I don't know, like an immediate answer on a question, he will help you with that, and also provide useful links when there are the occasions for that. All right, just a quick introduction into One-Click LCA. We are the world's number one AI-powered LCA platform for every industry. We've just recently joined forces with SimmerPro. And we work with the top architects, top consultants, and top construction manufacturers. Offer over 500,000 LCA data sets. We are present in over 170 countries and offer tools for 140 plus standards. I think the numbers speak for themselves. If you are interested in the field of lifecycle assessment and you are looking for a tool, then maybe consider One-Click LCA. Feel free to get in touch with us if you are interested. Today, however, we will not talk about lifecycle assessment. We will talk about microclimate simulation. That's why we are all here today. For ENVI-met, which is a microclimate simulation tool. But we will talk a little bit more about that in our first topic of today's agenda, where I will give you a quick introduction into ENVI-met for everyone that is new to the topic of microclimate simulation and doesn't know the tool ENVI-met yet. We will have a quick introduction, a few slides to get everyone on the same page. I just saw a question if the presentation will be shared later on. The session is being recorded and you can watch the session afterwards as well. So yeah, maybe just answering that question. All right, then after the introduction into ENVI-met, I will do a little ENVI-met release recap. We had 3 releases this year, maybe not a huge number, but we had considerable changes that came with these releases, and I just wanted to give you a little recap of what has happened in 2025. Then we will have a quick look at ENVI-met 5.9 in detail, what exactly has changed, what tools have we maybe or options have we added to the tool. And then we will have a look at the isolated wind and solar simulations, as well as the reporting. These are features that came with version 5.8, but we are aware that not everyone is using these features yet. So yeah, we thought it would be good if we do a little introduction of these features as well. And then after that, we will have a little poll for everyone that is new to the topic of microclimate simulation. So feel free to answer that. After that poll, we will have a yeah, Q&A session. So again, feel free to put your questions into the chat. And then in the end, just a couple news, and then we are done already. Takes, as I said, around 40 to 45, 60 minutes. Excuse me, please, if my voice is breaking down a little bit today. I will take a sip of water when that happens, but I hope it won't. Okay, so let's talk about ENVI-met. You can see it in the title, Urban Climate Resilience with ENVI-met. And ENVI-met is basically a tool that helps you achieve this goal to make our cities resilient against climate impacts. And if we talk about microclimate simulation, the most prominent negative impact on cities is heat stress. And heat stress we endure almost all around the world, or in many cities around the world. Heat stress is a topic. We know the topic of urban heat islands, so cities heating up more than their surrounding areas. So it's a topic we need to cover and we need to have a look at, and we need to find solutions for. And ENVI-met, being a holistic microclimate simulation tool, helps you do that. How does it work? Well, we can build a model area in ENVI-met, basically your city district or whatever you want to simulate, your city part, consisting of different objects, buildings of different morphology, vegetation of different morphology, different soils and surfaces, artificial surfaces, natural surfaces. And we combine all of these objects into a model area. This could then look like this, for example, here in the bottom right corner. And then what you do with ENVI-met is you simulate, for example, if you look at heat stress, you simulate a typical summer day in your area, or a typical hot day in your area, a typical hot week, or a typical summer week in your city. And you run this simulation then. ENVI-met, and we will also go into the depth of what ENVI-met all calculates, then performs a detailed and holistic microclimate simulation. And in the end, what it is generating for you is climate outputs, so data like air temperature, wind speeds, wind flow, radiation data, and so on and so on. And this climate data we can then also summarize into thermal comfort indices, which you can find on the top left. So what these thermal comfort indices allow us to do is they give us a very detailed view on thermal comfort of a person, or how a person actually perceives a certain climate. Because if we look at the most generic factor, which is air temperature, we all look at the weather forecast and look at the air temperature, and we know, okay, it's going to be hot, or it's going to be cold, or it's going to be medium. But air temperature doesn't provide us all the info that we need to actually know how a person perceives heat. Factors like wind, the relative humidity of the air, the air temperature, of course, the direct impact of solar radiation and of other radiation fluxes, all of these play a role into defining our perceived heat. and if we experience heat stress or if we do not experience heat stress. And these thermal comfort indices like the PET and UDCI, ENVI-met calculates for us based on the climate data that it has calculated for us. I've said it's a holistic microclimate simulation model. That means that we try to incorporate all the different factors that play a role in defining our city climate are considered by the model. That means that we have, of course, a wind model that calculates the wind flow through your model area, a CFD model ENVI-met provides. ENVI-met also calculates data for air temperature and the air humidity. Turbulences are being calculated, and of course the different radiative fluxes, so the direct radiation from the sun, long-wave radiation emitted from our surfaces, from the terrain, reflection of radiation, absorption of radiation. All of these factors are being considered, and then also an additional module, and ENVI-met allows us to calculate the pollutant dispersion, so pollutants of particulate matter of different sizes, ozone, CO2, and so on and so on. And with this holistic approach, ENVI-met is the world's leading microclimate simulation tool. We are very prominent in the scientific community. There are over 4,000 papers that work with ENVI-met, that cite ENVI-met, that also look at the model performance and evaluate it. So have a look at Google Scholar, for example, if you like, type in ENVI-met and you will find huge sources of scientific material talking about or writing about the model. Also, what is important to say is that these microclimate simulations also happen on a very high resolution. That means we calculate resolutions of 1 by 1 by 1 meters. So cubic blocks of 1 by 1 meters, or up to 1 by 1 meters. You can change that yourself again to rougher resolutions. And then also the climate data for your day is calculated every second. And so it's a very detailed simulation of the climate in your city district. You can see it in the headline, validated and referenced in over 4,000 scientific articles. Have a look yourself if you're interested in that. What I wanted to cover here is just that we also offer integrations for QGIS. There is a plugin also for Grasshopper for Rhino, and then also for SketchUp if you are interested in that. These plugins, if you already know how to work with QGIS, Rhino, or SketchUp, it's very handy, as you do not have to model areas, or you do not have to learn a new tool. Basically, you can just import your model, run a simulation with a few clicks, and then you get your data and you're set. Okay. That's it about ENVI-met. I hope it was clear what ENVI-met is. If you are new to ENVI-met and you do not yet exactly have an idea about the tool, then write us a mail or write in the chat. We can, of course, also get in contact with you. You can also write a mail to support@envimet.com if you've got a question. We will be happy to help you with that. Now, I wanted to do the quick release recap of 2025. As I said, we had 3 releases. In February, we had 5.7.2 coming out. In May, version 5.8. In December, last week, version 5.9. And of course, our goal was and is continuous product improvement. Changes in 5.7.2 were drastic for our existing user base. We have changed to a new license system, which is now safer and overall a better system, less crashes, less maintenance on our server, which we're very happy about. But we do of course know that it was quite a drastic change. So we hope to make it as good as possible for you if you're already using ENVI-met. Then UI simplifications, we started with that in 5.7.2. The software is already possible to be used by non-experts. We try to make it even easier to use as much as possible. And then we've also added the thermal comfort indices, PET and UCCI, as standard output variables. If you're not aware of that already, have a look in your atmosphere folders. If you already use ENVI-met, then you know what I'm talking about. And check for PET and UCCI. You can find these values there if you scroll down a little bit. In May version 5.8, we have focused for the first time on the reduction of simulation times. We know that the simulation time is a factor that definitely plays a role in customer satisfaction. We know that simulations can sometimes take a little bit longer. And so our biggest focus was this year on that we reduced these simulation times. 5.8 reduced them by around 20% compared to version 5.72. We've also decreased loading times for model outputs in Leonardo. We've included netcdf files, so more convenience for you. You can now, these netcdf files are basically also output files. You can load into all kinds of tools like ParaView, but then also in data analysis tools like RStudio and Python. And yeah, you can use these files then to analyze your data further, or to visualize your data also in other ways. And then with version 5.8, I've already mentioned it, we have introduced an online reporting tool. We will have a look at that in a few minutes. And also we have introduced isolated wind and solar simulations, which allow you to not perform a holistic simulation, but you can run these isolated simulations just for wind and just for solar simulations, which basically saves you a lot of time. In December last week, we released version 5.9, and we are happy to announce that we have further reduced simulation times by around 50%. Depends a little bit on the model, and we will also have a look at some comparison data in a few slides. But compared to 5.8, around 50% reduction we have reached. We've also reduced the calculation times in ENVI-met and also added some features to Albero and the DB Manager, which we will have a look at in the next slide. Now, you might ask, how did we get a 50% reduction in simulation speed? I mean, it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. We basically had one of our dedicated developers looking at the code and basically making it more efficient. It's not that we have changed anything about the holistic aspect of the simulation, but we just improved our algorithms, and it seems that it was possible to improve the simulation speed by around 50%, which is quite large. So a simulation that took you 2 days before, maybe takes you 1 day, 1 day and a few hours, something like that. I think that's quite a bit of improvement here. The same goes for ENVI-met. We basically went through the code and made it more efficient. Now let's talk about the changes we made to Albero. I think this is especially interesting for the scientific community here today, because we have added the possibility to change photosynthesis parameters in Albero for your specific tree species. I'd say let's have a quick look at that. Just have to prepare the screen sharing. Let's open Albero. For everyone that is new to ENVI-met, Albero is the tool where we manage our tree database. We offer a wide range of different trees here, of different morphology, different species. And what we have now added in the physical properties is this section here, the advanced plant physiology, where you can basically change these values depending on your needs. If you are not familiar with this stuff and you don't really need to go into depth about this stuff, then don't touch it. It's especially for our scientific community, maybe biologists, landscape architects that really need to work with this data or want to work with this data, then you are now able to do that if you like. And then I have also on the list the DB Manager. Basically, we made the albedo of natural soils editable. Before that wasn't really the case. Now it is. We can also have a quick look at that in a second. This is our DB Manager. This is where we manage all of the different objects, so building materials, different soil and surface materials, and also a couple plants as well, like grass and hedges and such. And now for the soils, usually the albedo values were at 0. This is because the albedo of a soil is also dependent on the soil humidity content. And before ENVI-met, before this update, ENVI-met has calculated that for you during the simulation. Now, as it was requested, we have changed it to be editable. So you can now just create a user database, project database item, and change the albedo value how you did it before with all the other parameters. If you do not change it and leave it at 0, ENVI-met will still calculate the albedo for you depending on the soil humidity content, but you now have the option to change the albedo if you like to do that. ENVI-met did not only get faster, also got more precise, more accurate. We have changed or worked on our energy calculations, fixed some bugs there, and the simulations are now considerably more accurate. So you will also see quite some changes if you compare data from 5.8 to 5.9. And then also, of course, stability is a big point. We always try to improve, and we did that again with this update. Hopefully, you can also experience that. I just wanted to present the results from our comparisons regarding the simulation time. I said around 50% is the improvement in the simulation time. And basically, we, of course, have run tests. We've run tests of different model sizes, 20 by 20 grids, 60 by 60 grids, and 200 by 200 grids. And as you can see here in this 20 by 20 grid simulation, we went from a simulation that took around 37 minutes. This one took in the new version then took around 21 minutes, 22 minutes. The 60 by 60 scenario took 7.85 hours. And then in the 5.9 version, only 2.5 hours. So even a 68% improvement in the simulation time. And the larger model, which I think is the most realistic, if you conduct a climate study in a city district, 200 by 200 grids, we went from 52.1 hours to around 30.5 hours, so 39% improvement here in the simulation time. This is, of course, data that we collected. Feel free to download version 5.9 and run your own tests, run your own simulations, and share your findings. We are always interested in that, of course, and hope that you appreciate the considerable improvement regarding the simulation speed. All right. Now we've talked about version 5.9. What is coming now is also relevant for 5.8, the single module simulation, and then also the reporting. Let's first have a look at the single module simulation. This basically allows you to run isolated simulations for solar axis and wind flow, and these simulations not being holistic simulations, then just take a couple of minutes instead of hours, which is, I think, pretty good if you only need a wind assessment, for example, or just want to know the solar axis, the sun hours of different surfaces. And the data you can get in 2D and also in the 3D output format, as you can see here in my visualizations. And I'd say let's have a quick look at how to perform these single module simulations. But I'm going to make my screen bigger again. And this is now the ENVI-met Central. You can access the Central if you go to the headquarter and press on Manage Projects. And then under Simulations, you can see all of the SimX files, the simulation settings files of your simulation, and of your project. And then you can here on the right side decide to create a new simulation file. And as before, you can select to perform a full holistic simulation, so normal simulation, I would say. But you can now also select to do a solar axis simulation or a wind simulation. And I would say let's maybe have a look at the solar axis simulation first. And here you can now see a less complex version of the simulation settings that you know from the ENVI guide. Basically, what you do is you select a scenario that you're working in, you select the name of your simulation and an output folder. If you like to do that, it's also preset. I'm not going to change anything there. I'm just going to select my model area. And I can now add dates that I want to do the solar axis simulation for. So, for example, the solstitice and equinox days, and then also maybe let's add also the 13th of March 2025 here. And for all of these dates now, ENVI-met is going to perform a solar axis simulation. Everything that I have to do now is press on Save As. Then I can give it another name. As you can see, I've run a couple simulations already before this webinar. Let's call it Solar 3. And save it, close and run. And now ENVI-met is going to start a solar axis simulation for me. You can already see that the ENVI core has popped up here. It's now working in the background, but it will also pop up in a few seconds or minutes. There it is already, just popped up, and this is now working. It's doing the work for me. I don't have to touch anything anymore, and can just leave it alone. And the same goes for the wind simulation. You again select to create a new simulation, select the wind simulation here, and again just select the model area file. You can now also select the wind direction if you like. You can select the wind speed, and then also if you want to perform a fast or precise calculation. And then again, you can press on Save As, you can give it a name, Wind 3, press on Save, and press on Close and Run, and it's going to do my wind calculation. As you can see already, the solar axis simulation has already finished. The wind calculation will probably take a few more minutes, but we can already have a look maybe at the solar simulation. For that, I have opened Leonardo, our analysis tool, and here I'm now going to select for my solar calculation the solar axis folder in my output folder. As you can see, I can choose between facades and grounds. And let me maybe open the ground here, and 21st of March. Open it, and as you can see, we have a little bit of data here, sun hours for the terrain level and also the shadow hours for the terrain level. And maybe let's have a look at the sun hours here, extract 2D, and it's a small area, I know. Maybe let's have a look at a more beautiful one. I think I've run a solar axis simulation here. Maybe this looks better. Yeah, this is a part of Berlin. So here you can now see the sun hours at terrain level for the different services, of course, depending on the shadow cover. And the same goes for the wind calculation. Again, I'm selecting an output folder, maybe select this one, put out the data, select an output output data, and then I can select the height, extract 2D, and now I can see my wind speeds here, for example. I can also activate the vectors. Maybe let's make it a little bit better looking. I think 3000 vectors are enough. And also let's make the arrows a little bit more beautiful, a little bit shorter. And as you can see, ENVI-met has now performed a wind calculation for me as well. I can also, for example, show the wind in 3D and zoom out a little bit. And for example, if I activate the tubular belt settings, you may know these tubes here. I can also navigate with my mouse. You can see that ENVI-met has performed a wind flow analysis for me. And the wind is being hit by different objects, or is hitting objects and then realigning. All right, so that's it about the solar axis and the wind calculation. Let's jump to the reporting, which is also something we have added with version 5.8. This is a first version of an automated reporting tool. It basically allows you to upload your data to our online reporting tool. So you can basically use it in the web browser. You can also there visualize your output data, and if you like, generate editable reports from your simulation results. And you already know the drill. Let's have a look at it. For that, again, I'm going into the ENVI-met Central. And here I can see all of my output data in a list. These are the single module outputs. I cannot create a report of those, but I need to run a holistic simulation. And the whole step basically is I select my output folder, I click on upload report data, and then I can open my reports in the web. I've, for this webinar, because it takes a little bit of time, already uploaded the data. So I'll just click here and open my reports, or my project, my output data. And let's maybe have a look at this project here in Berlin. And as you can see, it is automatically opening my simulation data. We have picked a few variables or parameters like PET, the mean radiant temperature, wind speed, air temperature, and so on and so on. And here I can do basic visualization, tweaking a little bit at the legend. So feel free to play around with this a little bit. And you can also, of course, download a picture of the output map. And now for me to create a report, I go to the top right corner here, where I can select a report type. So an atmospheric report. This is for air temperature and wind speed, for example. I can do a bioclimatic report for the thermal comfort indices. And I can also do a comprehensive report that contains all of this data. So let's pick a comprehensive report and download it. And it's giving out a Word file. Sorry, my voice is going down. And this is now a Word file that ENVI-met has generated for me. And it's already formatted. It's got a table of contents. We've added different explanations here. For example, general stuff about climate adaptive planning, but then also the bioclimatic analysis of the thermal comfort indices, for example. And then also stuff like the simulation settings, which are of course important. Sorry. Sorry for that. The simulation settings I can view here. And then of course also all of the plots for the parameters like air temperature, PET, wind speed, and so on and so on. And of course, if you want to throw some of these visualizations out, then you can just select it and delete it from the Word file. I think this is still in, yeah, it's in protected view, so I cannot edit it right now, but I think I've exited out. You can edit the report, of course, and then yeah, do it to your liking, or just use the texts, just use the visualizations for your own report then. And that's basically it about the reporting. We haven't received that much feedback about it, so if you want to use it, kindly leave us some feedback to improve it. It's always appreciated in general with all the tools that we release. All right, let's jump back to the presentation, and I can also stop my screen sharing. All right, that's about the reporting. Have a look at it. We will now have a little poll, especially for everyone that is new to the topic of microclimate simulation or new to ENVI-met. We have a poll. Feel free to answer it. My voice is cracking again. Yeah, I'm going to set it live now. So feel free to answer it. Are you interested in ENVI-met? If yes, what's your intended use? Let us know. We are interested what you intend to use it for. I'll leave the poll open for a couple of minutes. And I can also already see that you guys are answering, which is great. Thank you. I need a break. I'll leave it up for a couple more seconds, minutes. 35 votes already. You guys are a very active crowd, which is great. Thank you for that. All right. A couple more votes coming in, but I think we can continue with the Q&A. Let me know your questions. What yeah, are you interested in? Are there any questions that we should cover here? Monica is asking, I cannot find the report on the website. I should have added that. The reporting function is currently only available for business users. So if you do own a business license, you can access the reporting and also the single module simulation. Jasmine Harper is asking, the solar axis, does it show radiation in kilowatts per hour per square meter? No, it doesn't. It shows you the sun hours, so it's a very basic yeah, solar axis simulation only. Doesn't provide you the radiative data. If you do have a business license, then write us a support ticket and we can have a look at it. If you do not see it, then there's probably something wrong. Feel free to write us a ticket then. Let me maybe see. What should be the main focus point? Philip Mervius is asking, what should be the main focus point to keep the running time for 2x200 plus model short? What generally increases the complexity is empty cells as well as tree cells. Basically, if you have a model with a lot of buildings in that, these building cells, less calculations are needed for those. So if you have a lot of buildings, your simulation will actually run a little bit faster, could run a little bit faster. It's always a little bit case dependent. But what definitely increases the simulation time is the amount of vegetation. So if you have a lot of tree cells in your model, then your simulation will also considerably run longer. I think that's the best answer I can give to that right now. And then also, of course, the amount of Z-grid cells that you pick. So we recommend around 30 cells. It's often enough. And if you need a higher model, then use telescoping. Amy is asking, can you point us to some more information on articles about how you increase the speed and what improvements to the calculations you did? It's a very fresh release. I'm not sure if we will publish anything about that. Maybe we can have a look into it. Thank you for that question. Let's maybe see. Does ENVI-met consider diffuse radiation effects while calculating heat island effects? It does consider diffuse radiation effects, and also you can simulate the heat island effect. Yeah. Vidya has asked that. There's many questions. I hope I'm answering at least some of them. Vidya is also asking, does ENVI-met generate urban weather files? We are working on a tool that lets you generate these. Or you're asking out of your model outputs. In that case, it doesn't. No. So it doesn't generate urban weather files out of your simulation outputs, but you can. We are working on the tool basically where it allows you to create your weather files that you need for the simulation, and it will probably come in a few releases. Cannot tell you exactly. Do I need a special INX or SIMX file to run just as wind or solar simulation? I can't find these options when I click on create new simulation. Probably, again, we will have to look into that detail. But yeah, you do not need a special INX file. You need to use a special SIMX file, which you can create through the ENVI-met Central. It's basically what I showed. But we can have a look at your case, Karina, as well, if it doesn't work for you. We had to adjust some of the licenses, so it can be sometimes that you don't have these features yet. Ellie Papacosta is asking, is it possible with the new version to have a common materials library for different projects? What we do have is the user database that you can use. I would recommend that if you need a common materials library. So we have two different types of databases where you can create your own items. We also have a system database where you cannot change anything, but the user database and the project database are databases where you can add your own items. And the project database is project specific, and the user database is not project specific. You can use it in all of your projects where you're not using a project database. And so if you need that common materials library, the user database would be your way to go. How can we get more accurate weather files by using programs such as Meteonorm? I've never used Meteonorm before. What I often suggest is use Energy Plus Weather. Maybe we can post a link in the chat. There you can get your weather files very easily. So I would usually recommend that. Alexander Klima is asking on the should I be able to see the version 5.9 on the ENVI-met info page? Actually, a good question. We have now transitioned to a new help center, which we probably also can. We should also get a link in the chat where you can find the download for the version 5.9. The ENVI-met info page will eventually be taken offline. And we will have all of the content on the Help Center page. Exactly. Darius has put it in. Thank you for that. That's the Help Center. And on the downloads, you can find the downloads for all of the versions from 5.7.2 onwards. They can also find the release notes, of course, for this release if you are interested. Okay. I hope there's no further questions. The chat is full of stuff. Jasmine Harper has asked, the reports can only be generated by holistic simulations or single modules as well. For now, it's only possible for the holistic simulations that you can create your report. Yeah, not for the single module simulations for wind and solar axis. Okay, I think we covered most of the questions. If you see that the question has not been answered, provide it to support@envimet.com. We are happy to answer it if we haven't covered it in this session. All right. I hope it was informative in general. I just have a couple news for you left. Jasmine is writing, thank you, Leonard. You're welcome. I hope it was informative. Couple news. I hope I just got I think you can hear me. Academy course, I've mentioned it already in a couple of webinars that we did. Do it. It's updated course that guides you through all the different steps you need to do with ENVI-met. You can also do it if you do not own a license. So yeah, it's free education. If you're interested, have a look in our ENVI-met onboarding course in the One Click LCA Academy. And Darius also already put a link in. And for every one of our existing customers, if you own a license, then please fill out our end of year survey. It helps us to see what we are doing good and what, more important, we are doing less good, what we need to improve. Let us know. We really like to hear your feedback. We've sent you a link. We will probably send you another reminder on the end of year survey. So please, if you have maybe 5 minutes or so, do the survey. Would be very much appreciated. All right, it took me 48 minutes. I think that's enough. I hope it was informative for you guys. If you have, again, any feedback on our tools, on ENVI-met, let us know. And yeah, have a great rest of the year. If you are celebrating Christmas, then yeah, happy celebrating. And yeah, for everyone, have a good start into the new year as well. And yeah, also have a nice day and a nice rest of the week. I'm out. Bye bye, and see you in the next webinar. Bye bye.